Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with some hybrid dinosaur madness. Today we find out who are the final four that could potentially be going up against Indom 2.0. By the end of the video, let me know which one you would be having going up against Indom. I mean, we've got some pretty solid hybrids. I've been keeping up with Goji Center's content as far as like who's been in the hybrid war and whatnot. Let me know who you like the best by the end, like I said, and let's get to it. Shout out to Goji Center.
Today on Goji Center, the great hybrid war takes one more step towards its climactic conclusion.
There she is.
Over 1,600 contestants, an elite squad of 16 hybrids was selected for the combative tests against the destructive menace unleashed upon the world.
Woo!
After the first round, this cream of the crop was cut in two, with 8 genomes kept in reserve as 8 of their compatriots proceeded on to see who will lead the effort in purging the world of this apocalyptic menace.
That purple one's sick. I forgot the name.
Gigantus on today's coverage, each remaining 8 hybrids are not being pitted against each other.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna... Are they saying they're not going against each other? I don't really know. Hold up. What was just said back there? Let me go back there again.
Today's coverage, each remaining 8 hybrids are not being pitted against each other.
Okay, so hold on.
Instead, each of them is evaluated based on how well they would fare in a one-on-one fight against a 2.0 in a head-to-head battle on neutral ground out in the open.
Oh,
no ambushes,
I like
no
that.
advantages, no setup. How they score will be based on how quickly they can end the fight, what condition they will be at the end of that battle, their smarts, and how many fights they can pull off a win.
Got
the second round of testing these champions starts now.
I'm hyped. By the end,
number 1,
like I said, let me know who you think.
Rex versus Ferropelta.
It's going to be the last one.
Either of these two could weather the storm in a closed quarters brawl with the 2.0. Be it an extended fight out in the open like an hour combat scenario, or a proverbial knife fight in the jungle of either getting ambushed or...
Here's my thing right here, right? I'm going to go ahead and do some deep diving in on Indom 2.0. As we know, Indom 2.0 for one, I mean, just look at the beefiness on this lady, all right? She's got muscular strength. She's got armor. She's got the smarts, right? I mean, she's got Indom smarts. This woman can pick up stuff and use it as a weapon. So Indom 2.0 is going to be smart, going to be strong, going to be defensive. It's going to have to take somebody with all those plus some to be able to defeat her. So like...
Ferropelta can leverage a slightly greater reach.
This one's cool.
Long tail when talking about singular weapons. Predator Rex, aka Vega, would certainly be able to land more hits consistently thanks to its great arm span and long upper body.
I'd go with Ferro in that battle.
Up and standing as a biped, Predator Rex would also be able to turn around a lot quicker and reposition if its odious opponent tried to pull a flanking maneuver and attack it from the sides or back. Ferropelta lacks a lot of this maneuverability,
but it has more
inevitably get outflanked in fights where it couldn't end the battle quickly with a precise goring attack or tail swing to the face.
True.
However, when it comes to an angle of attack, there is one important distinction between these two designs. With the Indominus 2.0 being as agile as it is, there's a good chance it's going to be able to get around and attack one of its opponents from the back.
True.
Vega's main weak spot is enemies targeting it at the tail and spine. Now, this is only a weak spot in that these areas don't have assets the Predator King can call upon to fight back. If the Indominus got it by the tail or climbed on top of it, Vega would have to shake off its opponent or try to reach and grab them to get them off. Something that would be difficult given its best weapons in its arms and teeth are all forward-facing. Ferropelta, meanwhile, has an extremely armored back and flanks. To do any meaningful damage, the 2.0 would have to go for the limbs or underbelly.
And that's going to be hard to
low
get.
To the ground, hard to reach easily, and getting in reach to do some strikes.
See, that's what I'm saying here. With Ferro, I think Ferro could be in like the final four. That's what we're getting to, the final four hybrids. I don't think the other one, which is like Goji Center's saying, with the whole defensive situation, even if Indominus 2.0 gets back here, what's she gonna bite? The tail? That is full of nothing but hard spikes. And then she would have to get like underneath. So she'd have to like dump them over or something. I don't really know how she would go about it. But this thing is a full armored tank, basically.
It means the 2.0 is in the awkward position of having to aim low, which can compromise its speed. And losing speed near the Ferropelta means leaving yourself open for nasty retaliation. Ferropelta may not be able to land devastating blows as easily against the nimble opponent it is pitted against, but being low to the ground and having usable weapons on both ends means any major angle it's attacked from does have some kind of answer. And a horn jab to the thigh, bite to the leg, or tail swing to the knees or ankles of the Indominus 2.0 is going to compromise its speed greatly. And when that speed and agility keeping the 2.0 in the fight is gone, it would be curtains. Predator
would be
Rex
cursed.
absolutely can throw down with the best of them, and would greatly benefit from working alongside Ferropelta in a sword and shield combination.
That would be solid.
But for
A
now,
team would be
its
crazy.
ally proceeds on as the bulwark against the horde, with the shield
Ferropelta
leading so
goes
the
on.
sword can strike best.
I agree with
number
that.
2, Armored Titan versus Coronoseratops barbaricus.
Who?
This contest
What
between
kind of
the
name?
Armored Titan and Coronoseratops is one between arms and armored.
Is that
living
the Armored
tanks of
Titan on the
war.
left?
Both excel in some of the same
Oh, no, that's Armored
categories,
Titan
while
up
their
top.
differences allow them to accentuate their skills in others.
Let me go ahead and tell you who I'm picking in this, whoever gets to go up against Indom 2.0. I mean, the Armored Titan, obviously, gonna be armored, I mean, look at the body. It's basically entire armor, right? I'm pretty sure that's not hair, that's armor. But I mean, look at the, whatever this guy's name is, the Barbaricus. That bad boy is, for one, beautiful. I mean, the weaponry it's gonna have, like the horns and the spikes, also gonna be having armor as well. So I'm going Barbaricus in this, this matchup as well.
Both are built to weather an onslaught
We're 1
of
for
attacks
1
by
right
their
now.
opponents, with armor that is both extremely resilient, but also allowing for good flexibility to give them the reaction speed needed to effectively make deadly contact with the 2.0.
I wouldn't be surprised if
The core
Armored Titan moves
differences
on,
that
though.
define how they were scored in this competition came down to their weaponry and fight methodology. Coronoseratops has numerous weapons front to back, but its best assets are undoubtedly its Triceratops-like horns.
Absolutely.
With a direct charge, lunge, or gore attack, these horns could potentially impale a 2.0 in a direct
Easily.
hit with enough momentum put behind it. Its high weight does mean charges would be limited compared to a normal Triceratops, but if conditions are right, these kinds of weapons just might be the best at penetrating through the crocodilian armor of its opponent. Striking the chest with those horns would be a one-shot kill if they had enough force to impale the 2.0. The Armored Titan, meanwhile, has a devastating weapon of its own with very different attributes. While its claws, sheer weight, and even neck could be suitable weapons, its tail would be its best defense and offense.
The complete
Resembling
armor
the
is
whip-like
crazy.
extremity of a Diplodocus, which could be potentially swung around at speeds exceeding 60 miles an hour. Even just half that speed with the kind of armor on its body would make this tail a shredding bludgeon. A clean hit to the face or limbs could break bone and snap joints. The biggest distinction is that while the whiptail has much more reach and would land its hits much more easily than the horns, it would need to hit multiple times or strike a specific vital to be a clean kill. Remember, we're talking
the
about
other
a
one
hybrid
definitely
with the
moves
base
on.
genome of
Barbaricus.
a T-Rex, an animal that had one of, if not the most robust skeletal arrangement of any theropod in existence. The horn attack, meanwhile, could be devastating with just a single hit, even
Right.
if it does require getting in much closer and risking a brawl.
I'm going with that
Something
guy for sure.
Coronoseratops is built to withstand. The Armored Titan can serve as a fantastic guardian, using its height and reach to cover teammates and even keep multiple 2.0 at bay. However, for its quick
Yeah, if you
kill
put some of these on a
capacity against
team.
an individual opponent in both this competition and for those 2.0
Indom
that
goes
might
down.
get past its armored comrade, Coronoseratops proceeds on in the competition with its
Look at how
titanic
many
compatriot
pluses.
Captain Skull.
That's two in a row.
3, Aro Titan Christus versus Brontoax. This
Yama,
would be a clash
whoo.
of titans if these two had come to blows against each other instead
I need to
of
see what
their
they look like
common
again.
foe. Instead, this competition involving one hybrid composed of one of the most powerful sauropods
That
that
is
ever
beautiful.
lived, and another built upon the strongest known hadrosaur of all time, comes down to the smaller details. Brontoax does have plenty of assets to call upon that make it a fantastic brawler. More than strong enough to endure hit after hit and give back twofold. It can thrash, stomp, swat, bite, or crush.
I
with
mean, this
all of
one's
the
gonna be
weapons
tough.
across its body. Its companion, the Aro Titan, stomps into the arena with very similar armor and spines.
I gotta go ahead and mention, bro, how do you pick against this thing? Look at the armor that it has for one. Not only the armor, but like the spikes as well. Look at the tail. One hit from that bad boy, you are quite literally impaled. I mean, look at is that armor or fur on the legs? If that's armor, I've got to go with this guy, Mr. Aro Titan. It looks absolutely amazing.
Leveraged by sheer brute force to a mind-boggling degree.
87
Neither of
tons?
these two are large enough to handily overpower a 2.0
But he might
in
be
a
too
direct
slow, I don't know.
confrontation if the carnivorous hybrid attempts to take them on head-on. Aro Titan would be much easier to outflank than its comrade. However, it is also substantially harder to critically wound. Gilgamesh has suitably legendary defense, with the only vulnerable points in the underside of the throat where the armor isn't as thick as it would be elsewhere.
This one's still crazy, though. I wouldn't be surprised.
Requires getting into the potential death zone that is its forearms and jaws. Gilgamesh would be able to win the fight much quicker thanks to its higher reactivity and agility, helping it land more hits more consistently and earlier on into the fight. Aro Titan, meanwhile, trades a lot of that finesse for sheer force that could potentially end the fight in one hit. This one was extremely close, and Aro Titan is unique in that it is one of the only contestants that could conceivably fight multiple 2.0s at the same time and have a good shot at winning.
So he should win, right?
The odds, however, is stamina. Gilgamesh arguably would get the win quicker in times where its titanic counterpart couldn't get that opening hit. When the fight drags on, however, things are going to literally heat up for the contestants, given how much force and energy they would be exerting. And because Aro Titan is so gigantic and so heavily armored, dissipating all that heat is going to be taxed. Even with sauropods having been specifically evolved for that function to help dissipate the heat, biology has its limits. There is a good reason why sauropods never evolved to have this much armor. One of them is that, well, they didn't need this much. Sheer size was enough to weather the storm, and in turn, the exposed, in this case unarmored body parts, allowed heat to escape much easier than if it were encapsulated in thick hide and armor.
I've never seen that.
If the fight turns into a slugfest, Gilgamesh having a smaller body size but also still plenty of surface area to vent off the building temperatures means it can stay in the fight longer by avoiding heat stress. Whereas the heavily armored Longneck would have a harder time dissipating heat than its more natural, less armored counterparts. All of that bony armor is going to insulate it and start increasing the temperature the longer the fight goes. Both of these are well armored. I
still like Aro Titan better.
It's easy to think that Aro Titan might finish the fight in better health. However, in this specific case, any attempt from the 2.0 to attack the weak spots of Gilgamesh puts herself at risk of being killed, but quicker, not giving enough time for the 2.0 to inflict significant wounds. This was the definitive factor.
I guess, man, I like Aro better, but
Gilgamesh will be able to go the distance just that much more. Gilgamesh proceeds on to take the front lines, while Aro
I said I wouldn't be surprised.
In for heavy weapons. Matchup number 4, Armatus Gigantus versus Monstrotherium Brutalis.
That's the one I was talking about earlier,
Closing up our competition is the mightiest mammalian hybrid, contrasted with a compatriot that is superb in its simplicity.
Gigantus?
Armatus Gigantus is...
I'm going to go ahead and pause right here. Before I even hear the explanation, before I even go anywhere else, I'm picking this man to be in the Final Four and potentially actually winning. I've got Gigantus. I forgot who made Armatus Gigantus. Big shout out to them. Your dinosaur is beautiful. But like, yeah, I don't even want to, we're going to listen to his explanation and he'll show you why he's going to win. I'm telling you right now.
After arguably the most powerful land animals to ever exist, with some extra
look at how beautiful.
Monstrotherium Brutalis, meanwhile, is an unnatural gestalt.
That's still a very cool monster.
More like an ogre or beast of myth with a myriad of natural weapons that are simple but effective. Both of these two have the raw power to put the 2.0 down for the count.
Gigantus is going crazy.
Much better in a specific environment, whereas the other is more generalized. Outside of being in a very cramped forest or swamp that would bog it down and reduce its ability to leverage its great reach, Armatus would be able to make contact with its opponent, at times even before or while the 2.0 could manage to pounce. While it isn't as heavily armored as other sauropods, being over 80 tons still makes it way larger than it needs to be to win a strength contest.
80 tons,
A sauropod half its weight would be able to reliably triumph over a much lighter opponent. And that sheer bulk does mean even the areas that aren't as heavily armored still have plenty of padding and protection. What armor it does have will keep it in the game even if the 2.0 manages to climb on top of it to try and attack the exposed back, making it easier to shake off the Indom and protect its neck. And once the fight is on the ground, it only takes one solid swing with over a dozen
That's what I'm
meters of
saying.
reach
With that tail,
and multiple tons of mass behind it
come
to
on
be
now.
a game over for a 2.0 caught in that position.
Facts.
Monstrotherium, meanwhile, is a brawler with the best of them. But unlike its opponent, it lacks the ability to cleanly and reliably kill in one single blow if the fight came down to that. Health-wise, Monstro is clad in armor to protect it from several blows.
That is a
However,
monster,
being
bro.
evaluated against a sauropod who could throw its weight around a lot easier means that a more heavily armored herbivore like Armatus would stack more wins in less time.
Right?
The angry green Goliath.
Tell me that big
Brutalis
fella
would
moves
be
on.
a much-needed asset in clearing out 2.0 incursions in the very biomes Armatus would struggle in. Denser forests and bogs would also give it the advantage in being able to rip up trees to use as weapons thanks to its dexterous arms. Especially in a swampy environment where the water and mud would even out the playing field with speed, this armored ogre would be an ideal choice. But as for taking on the 2.0
Armatus!
head-to-head in the open, Armatus marches forward on
Let's go. We got 75% of them right today, by the way.
Great hybrid war, the final four.
The final four,
Coronoseratops,
bro.
Ferropelta, Yama Brontoax, and Armatus Gigantus.
What a
will
beautiful
face their
lineup.
Final tests to reveal who will be the winner of the first hybrid war.
That's so
Only
awesome.
one hybrid will take the crown and the honor to
Who do
face
y'all
the
got?
Pale Menace
Let
and
me know.
become the champion.
In the comments. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm either going Gigantus or that red the Triceratops looking thing. I forgot what the name is, but one of those two I think are gonna win. Let me know who you got in the comments. Other than that, though, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Thank you for watching with me. I love ya. Goodbye.